Okay, everyone, please join me in welcoming Chef Allen.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to Burger Bar, and we're going to have some fun with cooking and give you a little bit of an idea of what goes into the burgers here, what makes them different. I think we do a lot of things differently. This is kind of a casual, but also it's a chef theme. It's a Burger Bar by Chef Allen's, and to me, bringing in the quality of a chef, the flavors, the techniques of a chef is kind of what's going to make the difference for us in how to make the burger, how to organize the burger, and how to cook it. So I'll show you what you've been enjoying here actually for quite a long time. You've actually been doing some really good things with the burgers, lots of different types of burgers. And you know what? I think people love burgers because they're comfort food, they're casual, and they're easy to eat. We all grew up on hamburgers, and now we just call them burgers. And I mean, look how many different types of burgers that we serve here. We serve a great burger and a cheeseburger, as well as beach burgers, and also some varieties of burgers. We do as well as some tuna burgers and chimichurri burgers that we're doing with mushroom portobello. So I think what I wanted to do is share with you kind of the basis of our burger. Because most people do burgers and it's just ground beef. And you know, well, what's the ground beef all about? To me, it makes a difference what kind of ground beef. It's not just chuck. It actually is, I've worked on a blend of meats that will really make a difference in the burgers that we're making. Here I want to show you with that, we actually have 3 different types of meats that go into this burger that you're eating with the Great Burger. The Great Burger, it has a couple of things. It has a short rib, as well as a brisket and sirloin steak. Okay, the sirloin steak here, take a look at that. So the reason, now that's a nice piece of steak, huh? We take this, the sirloin steak, the brisket, as well as the short rib, clean them up and grind them to make the blend that goes into the burger, into making the Great Burger. The reason for this is actually a couple of reasons. One, having the variety of meats, as you're chewing through the meat, as you're eating the burger, it actually tastes really good. It has a variety of flavors. It's not just one-dimensional. It makes the meat three-dimensional flavor, so that we've got a lot of flavor. The fat content in a burger is important. Believe it or not, we actually do like to have a little bit of fat in the burger. It makes it juicy. It makes it flavorful. Don't have to have too much fat, but we don't call it fat, actually we call it marbling. And so that marbling is important. You can see it right here in the short rib. And that's why I use short rib, because it has a really nice, large amount of marbling in it, solid marbling, and so that is one component. The brisket that we use also has a nice marbling inside, though nice and lean and flavorful, and this is a great piece of meat as well. The sirloin has a couple of different cuts with it, and there you have the sirloin. Blending this, grinding it, and then shaping the burger is what we do to make our great burgers. So that each one adds its own significant flavor, each one has its own texture, and combining it together, you really have some very interesting things. So what we do is we combine that and then make a burger out of that. Our burgers are nice, full, hand-shaped burgers, so again, not pressing this too much, because if you impact and press the meat together too much and overhandle it, it becomes tough. And that's you know, one of the things that you want in a great burger is it should be flavorful and juicy and easy to eat without falling apart and without having too much chew to it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here is the combination of those meats that are going into that. So with the Great Burger, these are not only hand pressed on a daily basis, so they're fresh. Having fresh meat, flavorful meat is important. Following that, what I like to do with it is the seasoning on the burger. Okay, we do some interesting, most people, salt and pepper is good enough for you. Okay, and nothing wrong with salt and pepper, but we add a little bit of extra spice. Now usually when you talk spice, people think, oh, I don't want spice, it's gonna be spicy, it's gonna be hot. To a chef, actually the difference is spices are flavors. It's flavors, adding depth, adding different interests, and that's kind of what we do with the Great Burger, is I put together a blend of spices that makes the great burger very flavorful. To enhance the flavor of the burger, to make it a unique flavored burger, on top of the meats that we're using to do that, we add in the spices. The different spices that I use, I'll share with you. We use peppercorns, black peppercorns and salt, so we do that. But then also I use something called coriander seed. Coriander seed is a seed that comes from the plant of the cilantro plant, but it's actually an old world spice that when you use the coriander, it brings out more of the steaky flavors in the meat, which is kind of what we want to do, and giving the burger some nice flavor. Also, I use a little bit of cumin. This is cumin here. This cumin is another spice used all over the world. Cumin adds a flavor almost like of earthiness. So we have the steakiness and the earthiness that are coming together. Then also, what I do is a little bit of garlic, and I use garlic powder and onion powder. So these 6 ingredients make up our secret spices, actually, that we put. Uh-oh. Now you got it. Now you got the secret spices going on. Gotta watch it. So we blend them, we crush them, and it comes out to be a spice mixture like that. Okay, so the spice mixture, really important with that. Sometimes people believe that putting salt onto meat will pull out the juices, but to me, I think putting salt into the spice mixture adds flavor, it adds texture, and that's also what we have with this mixture, and why I start with whole seeds like the coriander seed, the black peppercorn, and the cumin, because these are whole seeds, and you get more flavor when you break the seed, you get the essential oils out of the flavors, and it adds more depth to the cooking. So that's kind of one of the things that we're doing here also, is making the burger a lot more interesting by having a lot of flavor and texture all on these types of things. As you can see, as a chef, we add these types of components into it. That's kind of the difference of a chef as opposed to just taking a ground beef, slapping it together, throwing it on the grill, a little salt and pepper, and you got a burger. Absolutely. But what we do here at Burger Bar, which makes the difference, is all these types of things. The types of meat, the type of blending of it, as well as the spices. So these are the beginnings of what we do here. So I'm going to make a couple of burgers for you, and then we can talk about some of the other things that impact the burger at the same time. So when I season a burger, a couple things that go on. Okay, you season it fairly liberally. Okay, and you season both sides. Okay, so what we do is on each of these burgers that we have shaped, season fairly liberally and season on both sides, because both sides you want the flavors going on. Just like that, okay? And so you've got a nice coating, and nice and flavorful. That's one of the key things. So just before we cook it, we put the seasoning on. That's going to add a sort of crust to the burger, which makes it flavorful. And when you cut through it like a steak, you have that crusty, steaky sort of outside, and then you have all the nice burger flavors inside. Second thing that I want you to remember about cooking a burger, no matter where you do it, at home or on the grill, get the grill hot first, okay? The griddle or the pan, whether you're doing it on a griddle, you're doing it indoor, or you're doing it on a barbecue outside, you want to get it really hot. Once that's hot, you're going to be able to sear the flavors into it. So that's really what we're doing right now, is we're getting this nice and hot. And what you can do is check it, just to see. You put a little bit on there, on the griddle, and you want to see a little bit of it moving along. You probably will see a little bit of smoke coming from that, and that's good. Okay, so as you can see, this has gotten nice and hot. We got a little bit of heat. Going to put just a little bit down, and going to put our seasoned burger on that. You know, I like the griddle because it gets all of it seared, and you have a nicer crust. The grill will give you the lines on it, which some people think it looks really sexy to have those lines on it, but otherwise this works really well.
It's a different kind of heat though, instead of contact, like induction.
Exactly. So as you see, you want it hot enough where it starts to cook the burger right away when you hit it. If it doesn't start cooking the burger, it's not hot enough probably remove it till you get it really hot, and then we start to cook that. So the burger's cooking here, really nice. We're starting those off, and what we're going to do is make a couple different types of burgers for you, just like we're doing here at Burger Bar. And some of the favorite is the Great Burger. The Great Burger is a simple burger, nothing fanciful about it except the cuts of meats, the spices, and the technique. So we're going to cook a Great Burger. Also going to do a cheeseburger with you, and one of my favorites, which is the Beach Burger. Okay, Beach Burger is something, we're in Fort Lauderdale here, we're in Florida. Had to bring a little bit of that sort of compote texture into it as well. Okay, so that with the cheeseburger, we're going to use cheddar cheese. With the Beach Burger, we're going to use bacon and Swiss and pickles. And I also have a sauce that we're going to make with that as well. So I'm going to start off with making that sauce so we can get that out of the way. And for this sauce, for the Beach Burger sauce, it's a real simple recipe actually. Start off with some mayo. Into the mayo, we add a little bit of yellow mustard for this and blend that. And then what I do is add in some key lime mojo. The key lime mojo is a product that I make, and the key lime mojo has key lime juice, olive oil, onions, garlic, black peppercorns, oregano. So some real nice flavors in the key lime mojo. So nice and rich. And so that's going to mix that in to that sauce. So this is going to be our Beach Burger sauce, our secret sauce that we use for the Beach Burger. Okay, it turns yellow. Real simple, 3 ingredients that go into it, and we're all set. So I'm going to put this aside. So we have our sauce ready for that. Now what we're going to look at is a couple of the components that go on here. When you're making a great burger, there's a couple elements besides the burger, believe it or not. And this is, okay, maybe you got to be a chef, or maybe it just, you think this all happens without thinking about it. But the amount of meat to the bun is important. You don't want to have too much bun going on. So you want to have a proper amount of meat to the bun so that there's a balance, so that you have nice bun. We always have fresh buns. We make homemade sesame seed buns here, freshly baked every day. So you get a lot of flavor with that. So to this size bun, which is about a 4-inch bun, we have an 8-ounce burger that we're going to use on that. Okay, here I'm going to take this and just kind of flip that over. Okay, got some beautiful flavors going on there. And you can see how it's browning on the outside. So we've got some real good texture as well. And that's the kind of thing that you want to do. You want to get that little texture going on, which makes it a little crunch, which gives you a lot more flavor.